Hey, and welcome back to the number one podcast in the world, the Cellarcast, episode 140. I think we're on.
You want me to search it up?
I think we're on 140.
I'm gonna look
You're
it up.
gonna look it up. It's a Katrina episode this week. She's typing the whole thing in.
Yeah, I can't remember what our episode number is.
I think it's at 140.
You think it's a 140?
I think it is. This is probably really.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's probably really riveting for the people who clicked on the title and already know what episode it is. Yeah.
Can't remember our own fucking podcast number.
My pod.
Your
okay. You're a guest in this house.
Donkey, there's no we. There's just me and my swamp.
What? Is that from Shrek?
Yeah. That's what he said.
Does he say that?
He's like, hey, what do we do when we get our swamp back? Our swamp?
He said our swamp? Whoa, you... Hold up. Do you have any red sympathies, Donkey?
Holy shit.
Donkey, I own this land.
I paid the mortgage.
Yeah, let me turn the volume down a little bit. I can see...
It's peaking a little bit.
Yeah, it's peak? What was it, peak?
Oh, is it peak?
Is it Peakio?
Peakio? Spoiler for later in the movie, or in the podcast.
Yeah, in this movie.
Yeah, this is not a podcast. This is a script.
Yeah.
We're reading a transcript.
This is all pre-recorded. Oh, it's always pre-recorded.
Yeah.
I meant scripted.
Yeah.
We're here today because, one, I didn't have anything else to talk about on the podcast because we didn't get any questions last time.
Did you get any comments?
I got comments. Okay. I didn't get questions.
All right.
Big difference, okay?
Okay.
Fucking get it straight.
Okay.
And I spent the entire last week working on the Sonic video and playing TF2. So I just don't have that much to talk about unless you want to hear me talk about my pyro loadout. Have you ever played TF2?
It's been a long time, so I don't...
What did you play?
What did I play?
Yeah.
Played Scout.
You played Scout?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was like them fast boys.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Do you like Sonic?
Do I like Sonic? Yeah, I like Sonic.
I
don't like all
the fast boys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, you know what's funny?
What?
Okay, so in that you know Sonic 4?
The one that's like the 3D game, but it's like plays like one like this like the 2D. Yes.
The 3D. You ever played it?
No.
Okay. I played that when I was a kid because I had this weird device that I've never heard anyone else talk about. It was called an Nvidia Shield.
You've never heard of a Nvidia Shield?
Oh, have you heard of it?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, okay. I've never heard anyone else talk about it.
Really?
No.
I know what that is.
Okay. Yeah, so I had, my grandparents had these friends who went to like a conference, like some tech conference, and they got gifted one, and they were like, I don't know what video games are. Why don't you give it to your grandchildren? So I had it, and they had this game streaming service on it. Mm-hmm. And you could just
that's right. Was it on Nvidia?
It was on Nvidia.
I figured.
Like GeForce or something like that. I don't even know if they still have it. I think they shut it down, and it was like a different...
That's not a thing anymore, yeah.
Yeah.
It's long dead.
But it was like, for some reason, it was completely free.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, cool, I guess I'll play Borderlands. I played Borderlands. I played Darksiders 2.
Uh-huh.
And I played Sonic 4.
It's the most 2011 game
That
lineup.
really was, yeah. It was like, oh, cool. And it was an okay experience for being free. And I remember playing Sonic 4 and being like, this game doesn't feel good. Something's weird about this game. And then, like, I never finished it. I didn't like it enough. And then years later, I hear people talking about how it sucks because, like, the physics are off. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's exactly what that was. That's totally what that was. And apparently there's some, like... oh, you're just saying that because it's not like the old games. But I've never played the old Sonic games, and I still thought it felt super weird and like didn't feel good at all.
Sure.
So that's I'm like the test group. I'm the focus group for
Nvidia
for the experiment, the Sonic 4 experiment.
Specifically Nvidia.
I don't think the Nvidia had anything to do with it. I didn't know there wasn't like that much. There actually wasn't that much noticeable input lag.
Okay.
when I was playing on it. Or I could have just been a dumb kid.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, we're going to talk about Ghibli movies because we watched every Miyazaki
We have
film.
now finally watched all of them.
All of them. And now we can safely say that the lung cancer is going to get to him before he makes another one.
Oh, don't say that.
Dude, he's like 89 years old and he smokes all the time. That's just gonna happen.
Oh yeah, he does smoke a lot. So
Dude, at the when he went to go see Tales from Earthsea,
he's just smoking.
He said, "Dude, I gotta take a smoke."
Yeah,
he's like, it's so stressful.
It looked like like in Kitchen Nightmares when like something goes wrong and the owner's like, "Man, I gotta go take a smoke." It looks like that.
It's such an old guy thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I need to smoke. This is too stressful for me.
We just watched Wind Rises, which takes place in like 30s Japan, and he's just smoking all the time.
All the characters in that fucking movie are smoking.
Oh yeah. Every scene, there's that scene where they're in like the hotel and they both have their own like
their own ashtrays.
They're like dinner plate sized ashtrays just stacked like the bloomin' onion.
Yeah, it does like the bloomin' onion like fucking platter.
Anyway, we watched all the Miyazaki movies because I'd never actually seen one until we watched Boy and the Heron in theaters a few weeks ago, and I thought it was so shit that I was like, I have to watch his other movies because they can't be that bad.
They were only just gonna do a couple, but like, now let's do all of them.
And then you wanted me to do all of them
because there's some that I haven't seen. Yeah, so, why not?
So we're gonna talk about them, I guess.
Yeah,
because you'd seen like half of them, and I hadn't seen any of them. I only know stuff through like cultural osmosis.
It's like Disney. It's like the Disney marathon.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I guess less so because I guess Ghibli stuff is less pushed. It's less like marketed everywhere, you know?
Back then it wasn't, but now it is.
Is it? Well, in terms of like when with Disney stuff, they're always showing you all the fucking shots. They're always showing
sure.
They're always showing you like the shot of from No Hunchback where he's on the thing. They're always just like
right
pushing it out.
It's famous iconography.
Yeah, they really lean it. Yeah, that's a good word for it. They always lean into the iconography.
But I feel like
Miyazaki stuff does that, but it wasn't nearly as intense to the point where throughout my life I only know like a couple things from it.
It's just because now that I think it's starting to ramp up.
Yeah.
With that release of Boy and the Heron, they were pushing that shit.
Yeah, because it's been 7 years. And anime is a lot. Yeah. It's 7 years.
Yes.
And anime in general is a lot more marketable. So there's a lot more.
I literally when I went to a dim sum place not yesterday, and I saw a commercial for McDonald's. It's literally just like an anime themed.
Oh, the McDonald's.
Yeah,
they just did that.
Wow. I was like, yeah, you would not see this like 10 years later or 10 years ago.
You
would not see that like in 2014.
Oh no,
you would not see that.
They'd be like, what the fuck? What is this?
Well, what's this? Yeah. Now it's like the prominent.
Yeah.
Thing.
I guess it's mainstream.
Now.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think like 10 years ago that shit was not mainstream.
Yeah, it was still kind of. I don't think I never got.
It was
bullied.
still a niche thing.
I never got bullied for being into anime when I was in like middle school. But it was like, oh, okay, Taigen, that's your little weird thing.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's just a normal thing.
Now it's pretty regular.
Yeah, it's just everyone's is into at least one.
Yeah, everyone watches. I'm just trying to think of a pun with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Pupitsu Shitsen. My best friend's gonna be really angry hearing that.
Jewish cousin. Jewish cousin. Attacking the power of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, if they rebooted that shit and it was that'd be awesome.
Have you watched Jujutsu?
I stopped at episode 7, but I have I have friends that really want me to continue.
Do they tell you stuff about it?
All the time.
Okay. I'm just asking that because I feel like I can't escape it, and it's fucking like everywhere around me. And I stopped for a second. I was like, "What's the main character's name?"
Itadori Yuji.
Is it not Gojo?
Gojo's like a secondary character. He's one of the four main characters.
Okay, he's
the one you see all the time, though.
I was like. Wasn't it like a pink hair guy who was the main dude? But I only ever hear people talk about this Gojo.
Gojo's the blindfolded guy.
Yeah. That's the only. I was like, is he the main character?
He's like the Miguel O'Hara of the series. He's like the one that he wants to fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Because I watched like 2 episodes when it came out back when I was in high school. It was like 2019 or something.
2020. I would have been in college when it came out. It might have been 2019.
Wait,
what do you mean?
What do you mean you would have been in college? No, I remember watching that in high school.
Really? It might have came out.
I remember watching
because I remember watching it in college.
I feel like it was early 2020 because I remember watching that like at my school, which means that it was in the first 3 months of 2020 before we got sent away for a lockdown and never came back.
I had no idea what it was until post-COVID.
Okay.
Like tail end of 2020.
No, it definitely started.
Okay.
It definitely started before that because I don't think I watched it at home unless I'm just misremembering.
Okay.
Anyway, what was the first? So, okay.
We'll talk about it in the order.
We'll talk about in the order we watched them.
Because it is also technically the order that these also came out in.
No.
Yeah?
I thought we were going to talk about all of them.
Oh, we're talking about all the ones that we watched? Or
did you wanna?
Because I'm like, you kind of already talked about the ones.
I guess I did. Yeah, I guess I did.
I'll briefly talk about it in the tier list.
Okay, we'll get to that. Okay, so the ones that we watched the last 2 days were... What was the order we watched
Naussica, Valley of the Wind.
Yeah.
Castle in the Sky. My Neighbor Totoro. Porco Rosso. And then Wind Rises.
We just finished Wind Rises. So, Naussica was the first one they made?
So technically this isn't under the Ghibli banner.
Okay.
But I decided to include it because it's commonly thought to be... Or just
it's like the first like Ghibli movie.
It's unlike say Castle at Cagliostro, where it's like, oh, it's just a Lupin movie.
Yeah, it's just
Miyazaki.
It's just a movie he did. Yeah.
This one feels.
We didn't watch Cagliostro, by the way.
Sorry, Lupin fans, all 3 of you.
Fuck you, dude. More like lupus.
So this is one that's technically the first one where it's like his blueprint, like his signature style, I guess.
I'm gonna whisper something to Kat right now.
All right. Okay.
Anyway, I hope that doesn't pick up.
You got to edit that out if it does.
I know, and edit this podcast.
Oh, sorry, you're gonna have to.
So Nausica was concluded. It's the first one in the Miyazaki canon.
Sure, yeah.
Of like Ghibli or the Ghibli canon,
and it was on the Ghibli collection list and HBO Max.
Oh, who was the original studio then? If it wasn't Ghibli,
it said.
Do they even exist? I wonder.
Let me switch it up. Because that kind of got me thinking.
Because if it was on the Ghibli collection, but it wasn't actually them.
Because their logo also doesn't pop up at.
They could have gone out of business, and he just got the rights.
Topcraft is the name of the production company that made this.
Did they go bankrupt or something?
Yeah, they went bankrupt the year that this thing came out.
Oh, he might have just had a deal where he could just absorb the rights to his name.
Yeah, maybe. It's really...
You know what it is?
Uh-huh.
It's probably because it was also based on a manga he wrote.
Right. That's right.
So, the way it typically works in Japan, as far as I'm aware, is that when you get a manga... At least in, I know Shonen Jump does this. I imagine it's probably industry standard, is that the rights get split 50-50. So he probably had a little more bargaining power to get the rights to the movie when they went bankrupt then.
Yeah, these fuckers went out of business really quick. They're only known for Nausica and also doing co-productions with Rankin Bass, which I told Taigen.
Oh, yeah.
That Hayao Miyazaki has a history, I think, with Rankin Bass.
I love Rankin Bass.
Yeah.
Those are my childhood Christmas
I saw
movies.
The Last Unicorn pop up. They said they did animation for that. And I love that movie.
Oh. You do love that movie.
I do love Last Unicorn.
Oh, Unicorn Girl.
Yeah. I can't say the same for this movie, though.
Have you ever seen Dodgeball? With Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn? No, I have not.
There's a scene where he goes over. It's like the girl the woman that he has a crush on, and he's really into her, and he finally gets the chance to go to her house, and he's all excited, and he walks in, and her entire house is unicorn themed.
It sounds like a Nickelodeon
and he's just walking around,
sitcom.
And he's like, "Whoa!" And she goes, "I really like unicorn."
It's like that episode of Downtown with the girl who likes Sesame Street.
Downtown?
Yeah.
Oh, the MTV one?
Yeah.
Sesame Street? Oh, yeah, the girl he meets.
He
finds his Cookie Monster thing.
It's like that.
Yeah. So you didn't like Nausica.
This is the
You had never seen it.
I'd never seen it. I know I've seen bits and pieces of it. And watching it, I think this is the only Ghibli movie that I'm not the biggest fan of. It's not even that it's a bad movie. It's just really boring.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is the one we're the most different on.
Probably.
Because I really like Nausica.
Yeah, you told
I
me.
think it might be... I think it's probably like in that kind of third place spot for me.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it thematically and I don't know. I love the way it was paced and I just thought it was really cool.
I don't really have much to say on this one. Other than
Really?
that, it just wasn't my thing.
Like it didn't... What didn't interest you about it?
I don't know. I guess the plot just wasn't my... It feels like this is the blueprint. I said this last night that this is the blueprint for Mononoke. Like what feels like he's trying to make this type of movie and he would make a better one like a decade later.
I see that because it's a lot of similar
themes.
Oh, look at the little bird in the yard. There's a little bird in the backyard.
Where is it?
It's walking around. It's there. It is. Now you can see it walking.
No,
a little crow. It's on the bottom. It's
on the bottom?
Yeah, on the bottom where the
hey.
Yeah, on the ground.
There's a crow in my backyard.
Yeah, that's so cool. Nature is beautiful.
Nature is beautiful, guys. Anyways,
which Miyazaki also
likes,
you know, in Nausica Valley,
Valley
of the Wind.
Wow, really good way to tie this around.
Dude, I'm like, high five. Let's go.
Yes. I don't know.
Is it that... So you like Mononoke more?
I think Mononoke just has more interesting characters and a more interesting conflict.
You thought so?
I don't know. I thought the conflict here is just a little jumbled. Yeah, I get it. It's like a bunch of these, I guess, tribes, groups, nations, are at war with each other, and I'm just like, okay, I guess there is a reason, but I just didn't wrap around my head like what was the main.
The main what?
Conflict as to why they were all.
Well, it's like. Well, it's really allegorical.
It's very allegorical,
and
so maybe that's why it was really hard to follow.
Well, so the main problem in the world is that there's
bugs.
The toxic jungle.
Yeah.
And if you try to fuck with the jungle, the bugs...
They'll get your ass.
I really like the fact that the insects are the monsters. There's something like really...
It reminds me a lot of like Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
in a very literal way, but...
and they're both bugs, which that's the thing.
There's something like a giant insect feels like a really alien thing.
Right?
It's obviously like it's on Earth, but it feels alien because it's like if it's like most other things, like bugs don't have skin. Right. Or even like scales. And even scales are a little bit like skin.
Uh-huh.
But bugs are just like an exoskeleton.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something kind of like... There's like a really clear divide between two different types of bodies. Like they're so different looking from any kind of mammal or reptile.
Uh-huh.
Or even like a fish or something. That I really liked them being placed as almost this like... so different from humanity that they were the essentially like the guardians of humanity, or sorry, of the earth against humanity. And you can definitely tell like there's a lot of recurring themes in Miyazaki's works that you could tell are really draw heavily on like his childhood and stuff that was going on with like, I mean, World War II was like the first war where it was like, oh, they want like the whole world. They don't want like this little country. They want the whole world. And this feels really informed by that. Like he was thinking a lot about countries and why they want things and how they react to the world and stuff. Or like things that they don't control. So there's like what's the tea people called? The Tamikians? Tamikians. And the Pedgites. And they're kind of like the two largest nations.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both vying for they both want to control things because they don't trust each other. And there's kind of this like I thought it was interesting because there's kind of this like divide within humanity that doesn't exist for the insects. Like the insects are all almost like a hive mind, or they almost not quite, but they kind of function as like a pack, and like they all have the interests of themselves as like a whole group, like a whole form of life, and the Earth, and that's all aligned. Whereas as the humans are all divided along these arbitrary lines, and they're trying to one up each other. Mm-hmm. So like the big thing is the warrior, the giant warrior,
right?
Which is like pretty clearly a nuke.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's what that is.
It's clearly supposed to be like a metaphor for like a nuke.
Yeah, and that's like this thing that's like, now that it's been introduced, because they mention at one point the lady in the armor, the leader of the Tamekians.
Yeah.
She says something about how it was the giant warrior was created to be the most evil thing on the face of the earth.
Yeah, to destroy anything.
So it was the thing that was created. They're not natural. They're like some kind of weird engineered form of life that was created by people. And now once that's been introduced back into like the world and the playing field, it completely alters and divides the way that like these different groups of people have conflict. I just thought that was really interesting. I just thought it was cool.
Sure.
You didn't care for Naussica as a protagonist?
She's an interesting protagonist, and I like her.
Okay.
But she's not really gonna stand out to me. She's not as memorable as, say, Porco Rosso, which we'll get to later.
Okay, or like, no one tops Porco Rosso.
That's true. Or like, I don't know, any of the other protagonists that we've seen in these previous movies. I don't know. Okay. She's fine.
Yeah. I like that you can kind of subtly... There's like, how old is she supposed to be? It's like a teenager? Because you could definitely tell that like she goes over this kind of subtle character arc where... She starts out and she's like a really extreme pacifist. And that's kind of...
She doesn't want to kill anyone, or she doesn't want anyone.
She doesn't want anyone to die for any reason at all. Mm-hmm. And I really like the scene after her father gets killed. Like, oh god, that whole sequence I found so engaging when the Tamekians come to the valley and they basically do a hostile takeover, but they communicate as if they're being peaceful. When really they just want to conquer the land to get the open that window, babe. Yeah, crank that. Oh, she's trying. There it is.
This thing was stuck for like 2 minutes. Yeah.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah,
that scene.
That whole sequence, and then the way that Naussica loses her temper and actually kills someone, which I didn't realize she actually killed him.
She does kill someone, yeah.
It's not super gore.
It's not Mononoke, but it's like...
it's not like...
There's not even blood.
Yeah, so I didn't quite get that he was dead.
Yeah.
But she does, and she's like really, really freaked out by that. And that's really like upsetting and weird for her. And then kind of over the course of the movie... I thought it was cool because she stops kind of like being a little bitch about it.
Yeah, she like womans up finally and like near the last 30 minutes.
She fucking grows some ovums and is like she's not a violent, she never becomes a violent person really.
No.
But it's like she kind of matures and she's able to handle it. So at the start, as soon as there's any sign of conflict, she's like, stop!
Yeah.
And then after the last half, like after that whole sequence of them getting out of the jungle, she's just able to handle it better.
Right.
And I thought, I don't know, I like that. You saw that like growth for her. I kind of it was like, oh, okay, they're doing this prophecy thing.
It's very obvious.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I feel like Miyazaki has a lot of really female-led driven movies.
Most of them are.
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of funny that in this like first one, basically, the prophecy is about like a man, or it's always depicted as a man. And it's actually Naussica. And I thought that was just kind of interesting.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah,
it's almost like I don't know. It like kind of rhymes with a lot of like his work in general. I thought she wasn't wearing pants for most of the movie, but
you
she
said
is.
that, but she is,
because they're like weirdly kind of flesh colored.
colored.
No, they're just supposed to be white.
No, yeah,
yeah, and then she ends up in the exact same colors by the end,
which we found out there was a reason for that.
Yeah, we were confused. She gets a pink dress. And then suddenly it's blue. And it got dyed that color by the blood of one of the insects at one point.
Yeah.
So I like how she never stopped being like a peacemaker, and that was kind of like her great strength and what made her different from like the other. Because after her dad dies, she is like basically the leader of her people, and that kind of sets her apart. I like the whole thing. I thought it was interesting, like when she collects the samples and she learns that the problem is that like the soil is polluted and the earth has like adapted to the pollution.
Right.
I don't know. I just thought like so much stuff about this movie was cool and interesting, and it felt like the conflicts between a lot of like the countries and all of that stuff and the decisions that those characters made felt, I don't know, really real to me. And I don't know, it felt like he was going kind of hard on it with that story.
Sure.
And he wanted to talk about some serious shit that he like observed from history, that he kind of like lived through. And yeah, I just kind of like the, I guess, science fiction-y. I like the how would you just...
It feels very... I was going to say the aesthetic of this movie reminds me a lot of like Dune meets Warhammer.
No, I wouldn't. No, not Warhammer.
It kind of
does. You don't look at Warhammer art for 5 seconds.
Hey, the way these like armors
Naussica walks out in fucking 30-foot tall power armor. It's not Warhammer.
Hey, that woman walked out in fucking 30-foot tall power armor.
It reminds me of more of... I was going to say like old like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy.
I could see that, like early Square.
Yeah, where it's kind of like a fantasy sci-fi steampunk kind of thing. Not quite like all the way steampunk, but there's like industrial elements stuff. But they're kind of they're dressed like kind of like medieval villager peasant peoples.
Yeah, there's a lot of armor and a lot of like peasant like style outfits.
He really likes the villagers where they have like the hoods on.
Yeah,
you know, those little... They're not quite like, I don't think they're attached to their shirts, but it's like the little hat hoods over them.
Yeah,
that shows up, I feel like, in a lot of his movies. I think that shows up in Laputa as well.
Right. I think that it does actually. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I don't know. I really like this one. Okay. So I was talking to my friend who is a big Ghibli fan, and they were saying that so this is based off of his manga.
Yes, it is. It's based off of a manga.
And in their words, the movie is very like a very compressed form of the manga. Did you feel that at all?
I felt like it was fine. I felt like it spent enough time. It didn't feel compressed.
Yeah,
I've never read it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I never got that. I think, I don't know if they'd finished the manga, but they got through some of it. I didn't feel that element really, and I was kind of waiting for it. Like, when is it gonna? What's a good example of something that you can tell got really compressed down?
Scott Pilgrim.
You're right. Yeah, it does. That's a really good one. Actually, that's a perfect example. And it never quite felt like
it's not like that.
No,
it felt like this one had more time to show everything.
Yeah,
and if it was compressed, I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Okay. I was curious if you felt that.
No, I felt like there was just enough time. This runtime was perfect.
Okay. Yeah. Well, a lot of his movies are like, it was like 2 hours.
2 hours. A grand majority of them were 2 hours.
Yeah,
only like maybe two of them were like maybe like an hour and a half.
Yeah. Okay. So I like this one a lot, and you didn't so much.
whatever.
Okay.
It's like it feels like a studio's first movie. I'll say that. It reminded me a lot of like Ants, where that where it's like
Ants.
Where it's like, oh, they're definitely trying their best to make, like a blueprint for what kind of movies they'd be making forthcoming.
Okay, we've been recording the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it. I did see the monitor turn off, so I got worried.
I think it's because it's not plugged in, but we'll be fine.
Yeah, it's. I say that I don't care for it, but in reality, this is like an A-tier Nickelodeon movie. Like, it's still fine.
Are you telling me it's better than Hotel for Dogs?
Oh, yeah.
And this. Valley for the Wind.
Yeah, I don't got much to say about it. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. What was the one we watched next?
The next one is Castle in the Sky.
Okay. We both really like this
I like this one, yeah. This is also one that doesn't get a lot. People talk about it, but it's not on the leagues of like Spirited Away
no, I didn't
or
know
Kiki.
anything. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even really know what it was about besides assumedly a castle in the sky.
So the only time I've seen this movie is when a teacher showed it, because we had like a movie day where you could just bring in movies.
Yeah.
It got tied with Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. So I saw this beautiful piece of work, and then I saw Castle in the Sky.
And then you saw Ballworm. And then you saw...
I saw Kevin James, a CG Kevin James get kicked by a horse.
Wait, no, you said the fucking joke first. You said I saw this beautiful piece of work, and then I saw... Wait, no. And then I saw...
Castle in the Sky.
Yeah, no, okay, that was the joke.
Yeah.
That's a little reversal.
Uh-huh.
We were talking about Miyazaki making Paul Blart Mall Cop.
That'd be awesome.
And like animating every frame of him getting kicked by a horse. And
yeah. Oh, dude, that'd be awesome.
Hey, look up the clip from Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 where he gets kicked by the horse and ragdolls, like he turns into a CGI ragdoll.
He turns into like a Gmod model.
Yeah, it's an incredible slapstick. It's like unironically
it's really funny. So Castle in the Sky, yeah.
What year was this one?
86?
Oh, wow, okay.
85 or 86, I can't remember.
So,
one of them.
This one's also like a bit
This is
long.
technically
it's like
their first movie.
Yeah, it's like a 2-hour runtime, right?
Exactly 2 hours.
Yeah. I like this one a lot.
I did too. I don't know. It's a very simple plot, but it's very engaging. I like the characters that you follow.
Yeah.
I like the design of this world.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something really engaging about this one.
It's a really fun adventure story.
Yeah, it feels like very almost like Indiana Jones-ish.
Well, like halfway through or something, for some reason, it was like the scene where they're on the ship.
It reminded me of like Last Crusade almost.
Well, no. When they were on they were talking on the ship, and the grandma was listening in on their conversation.
Right.
And it just occurred to me, I was like, wait, this is Treasure Island.
Yeah, like Treasure Island.
This is
like a very loose Treasure Island, but
it's not like, if you compare it to like Treasure Goated. Treasure Planet is a much more like direct adaptation of Treasure Island. It changes some things, but it's
almost close 1-to-1.
It's pretty close. This is more like a loose like,
adaptation.
In the same way that Ponyo is kind of like Little
Mermaid, right?
Yeah. So Castle in the Sky is about, it's like this little girl who's like the heir to this ancient kind of bloodline.
Yeah.
And she has this magic stone. Mm-hmm. And everyone wants this stone. Everyone wants her because she's the only one who knows how to use it to find Laputa. Or what way can we say it that makes it sound the least like a curse word in a different language?
I don't fucking know. I think there's only one way to say it, and it's that.
Because we realize, because puta is a curse in Tagalog.
Tagalog, yeah.
It means motherfucker.
Something like that.
And it's also one in like Spanish, as far as I'm aware. And we realized, like, when you go watch this movie, it's called Castle in the Sky. Uh-huh. But if you look it up, it is sometimes referred to as Laputa or Laputa Castle in the Sky.
And even if you notice for like a split second, it is called Laputa before they like the words.
It shows there's like a shot of the carving or the painting of Laputa, and then the title card comes over that.
Yeah. And so I wonder if it is just called Laputa in other
and
areas.
My theory was that It's called Laputa in Japan. I don't know. I could look this
Possibly.
up. And then for international releases,
it's just Castle
because
in the
it's
Sky.
like a curse word in like Spanish and stuff. I heard it means like bitch in Spanish or something.
Something like that.
Which is bad because it's literally just the bitch in Spanish.
Yeah.
Laputa, if that's the case. That was my theory. So everybody wants this bitch. She's Laputa. Because they want to find the castle in the sky. Laputa. The bitch.
The bitch in the sky.
That bitch in the sky. There's like the government and the pirates. And then the main girl, Shida.
Yeah.
Who's she kind of makes friends with, what's his name?
Patsu.
Patsu, yeah. And they go on like a fun little adventure. They end up joining this group of pirates. They find everybody. I don't know. I don't want to just summarize the plot, but like,
yeah, it's just a little adventure movie. It feels like a very pulpy like adventure story. Like it reminds me a lot, like I said, Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of thing.
There was like a big thing there was a trend in the 50s in like pulp adventure sci-fi magazines and stuff,
right? And it
with
feels
like Sky Pirates was an actual like
that was a big thing.
That was a thing for a little bit, and then they were like, "Fuck, you can't." We're out of ideas for Sky Pirate stories.
Yeah, sure, let's do that.
To make Superman shoot rainbows out of his fingers. To make a clone. Let's turn Batman into the Zebra Batman.
Zebra Batman. Yeah. I do remember that.
So we deferred a little bit where I wasn't like super into the first 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes are like kind of like it's the portion before the plot really gets going.
Right.
It really starts when the sequence where the robot wakes up. That's at the bottom of the fortress. Which I was like, oh shit, they got a cool robot? Oh cool, wait, this movie's cool now.
It's got this like really like Iron Giant-y like feel to it.
I was gonna say Iron Giant because it comes to protect her. I just really like the design of that robot.
I like it too.
It did remind me of something from Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, it does. It does like it looks like a Chrono Trigger like design.
Yeah. But that also happens to be the sequence where the villain Muska,
voiced by
the
Joker baby.
The Joker baby. Michael Keaton.
Not Michael.
Oh, not Michael Keaton.
Mark Hamill.
Michael Keaton is
in Porco Rosso.
Porco Rosso.
We'll get to that.
That's funny, actually. Chad Muska gets the stone, which points into the thing, and then so he's like on the path, and then they join up with the pirate. Like that's where all that happens. And for me, that was when it got really interesting because it was like before that it was like fine, but there wasn't much of an overarching goal or a plot.
Sure.
Like Patsu wants to find Laputa and he wants to prove that it's real, but you don't have like a real idea of like how exactly he's gonna do it. And it's a lot of like, I don't know. It's very like slapsticky.
I like it.
Yeah, I didn't mind.
I like that whole like train sequence especially.
Oh yeah,
that thing's really
that's
fun.
On the mine carts and all that.
Oh yeah,
where they're all just it's this big mad dash, like in the first bit, and then I liked it. I wasn't like bored or anything, but I was just kind of like, okay, where's this going? Which I feel like is how a lot of his movies start out for me.
Sure,
where I'm like,
I could see that
because he tends to structure them in a way where it's like things kind of they almost feel like they're meandering for a bit, and then it's like, oh okay, and that there's like a scene, and now there's a direction to the plot.
Right.
And then after that, I was just really engaged. I really liked all the stuff with the Sky Pirates.
Oh, they're fun.
There was really fun, weird like pedophile. What was that about?
Yeah, they had this whole thing where they're like, "Oh man, I love what's her name?
Shida.
I'm like, you're just like a little girl, right?
Yeah, I was like, what's actually going on here? Because like, if she was an adult, it would be like, oh, they're like into her, and you know,
right?
It gets lonely up in these skies.
Yeah,
but then it's like, oh, she's like 12.
Yeah, something around that.
What's that about? Okay. What's that about Miyazaki? What were all those shots in Kiki about where you see up her skirt? What were all those shots about? But overall, it's fun. I liked the grandma. The mama
of the Sky Pirates.
Yeah,
she's a lot of fun.
Yeah, she's really like slimy and gross at the start, and then I like how I don't know. She really won me over.
She has like a little change of heart throughout the movie.
Yeah, she has like a little soft spot inside, but she's like a criminal, so she like doesn't show it all the time. And then
I like that scene where Patsu and Shitter having that conversation about
pisser and shitter.
They're having that conversation up
the crow's nest.
On the crow's nest, and is everything okay?
I don't want to knock this over.
Yeah, and they're having that conversation, and the Sky Pirate old lady is like listening in while she's sleeping. And they're having this conversation about like the place that they're going to. He's like, oh no, I gave her the right directions.
Oh yeah, no, because she says something like that implies that she lied to her about what the direction was. And the mom is like,
she woke up a little bit.
Actually, I really like the way that was shot, where you're hearing the conversation, but you're only seeing her reaction to it and how it kind of changed. It's like this really neat little scene. And like things that pique her interest, and then she's like, "Oh no, I gave her the right." She's like, "Oh, okay," and then she just starts falling asleep.
She starts falling back asleep, which I think is funny.
So. She's like, "Okay, all right, I don't care then. They're just fucking around."
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked the island itself, or the castle itself.
Yeah, I think it's neat.
I'm a big fan of the I love like the ancient technology with the garden and the technology together. I've always really dug that kind of aesthetic, and it has it's clearly like very Greek inspired.
Sure, I can see that.
It's like whenever you want something to be like ancient, oftentimes you'll see like the pillars and the arches, the arcades, baby. I point one out every time we see one, because that's like that's ancient Greek architecture, because most are ever since even hundreds of years ago, those were considered ancient structures that are like an older style of architecture. I like the little robot guys, or I guess the big robot guys, and they like walking around tending the garden. I just love the look of like the big robot with the moss grown over it.
Yeah, I think that's neat.
And then the little critters.
So, okay, there's a critter that Naussica in Naussica.
Nausica's little friend.
She has a little friend that's given to her. It's like a little. It looks like a little Digimon almost.
It does.
It looks like a very Digimon-ish thing.
Yeah.
And it makes a cameo appearance in droves in Castle of the Sky.
There's just a bunch of them in the garden.
Yeah.
Which I was like, wait, is he trying to do something with like
a little cinematic universe?
Is this in the past or in the future or something?
I didn't care. That was cool.
It could have just been a reference.
It could have been, yeah.
And what I thought was weird is that he almost never does that.
So there's only 2 movies that like I could say that like they connect to each other.
Yeah.
Where they have little creatures, and we'll get to that in the next movie.
Yeah, they do it in Spirited Away
and Totoro.
We'll get to that. But we'll talk about that in a second. But I don't know. It was like it was a really simple villain, Chad Muska.
You fucking hated this dude.
He's the worst. He's like the most hateable guy ever.
He reminded me a lot of like Lotso. Toy Story. I'm like, I wanted to kill this guy throughout the entire movie.
Like, he's such a scumbag.
He's an asshole.
He sucks. He's gonna shoot children.
Yeah. He shot I keep Sheeta.
He shot her pigtails off
so she could have that fucking Ghibli haircut.
He get that.
He's gonna find a way to. Which, by the way, he'll find a way to get it in there.
That's like a Japanese symbolism thing. Do you remember that?
With Mononoke?
I talked about that. That when you cut your hair off,
it's a sign of change.
Yeah. So that's like, signify a change in the character. That was crazy. That's like the best worst aim you could ever
That's like some stormtrooper aim.
Specifically her pigtails off. And
like, are you trying to kill her or just trying to get like?
Imagine your barber.
Oh, give me the. Give me the shita real quick. Got it.
Boom, boom. Fucking dude, don't get a haircut in Chicago. Dude. What the fuck is my barber doing?
Right.
I don't know. I like there's like right after Naussica, he has another villain who hates the environment. Right?
Oh, right.
Where he comes in, he's like, what the fuck is this tree? I hate this shit.
Fuck this tree.
Fuck this tree. Fuck nature. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a really fun, solid adventure movie with some fun characters and some cool ideas and visuals and some nice music and stuff. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about with Naussica.
That score, man.
There's like one part in Naussica that is really weird with the score. Okay, well, first of all, we mentioned... I said the Naussica soundtrack sounded like...
System Shock?
Sounded like System Shock synths
Uh-huh.
for a lot of the time. Do you remember that scene when they get to Pegite and it's been like almost... It's been totally destroyed by the insects?
Uh-huh.
Because they like lured them... Because they got the baby.
Yeah.
And they got attacked for it. And there's like this weird moment where they're looking at the destruction... And the music kicks in, but it's like not the right music. It's like a weirdly like chill music.
It's got this like Dire Straits synth to it, where it's like, yeah. It does not fit the scene.
And it's like he's seeing like his whole nation destroyed. And, like, probably thousands dead. And like his home is gone, and he has to grapple with the fact that like his government just did this to their own people, and it's like this horrifying thing. And I was like, and then the music, like a different music kicks in,
right,
really abruptly, and I was like, that was weird.
That's kind of weird, yeah.
I don't know. It's like a weird, random thing I remembered. Yeah, castle in the asshole in my
asshole
eye.
In the sky.
Asshole in my eye.
Asshole in my eye.
Yeah,
it's a good one. It's a good one.
I'm surprised people don't talk about it as much.
No, you don't. I see merch from it like every so often, but that's about it.
Is it because I don't know? There's like the robot.
The robot's like a very marketable character, and you see a lot of merch of that character.
Okay, because there's a couple movies that we really like that you never hear anyone talk about.
We'll get to one specifically.
It's because they don't have as many little marketable plushies.
That's what I was thinking, because with Spirited Away, there's like, the No Face.
Are you gonna give your kid Porco Rosso?
right.
I would love the little Porco Rosso.
I would too. I wouldn't lie. I would like that too. Speaking of marketability, that's our next movie.
What's the? Oh, Totoro.
My Neighbor Totoro.
My Neighbor Totoro. So you had never seen this one, actually.
For, Totoro being what? Ghibli's mascot. That's their Mickey Mouse, essentially.
Yeah, but it's the one you hadn't seen.
It's one of the few that I haven't seen.
What did you think of it first?
It's fine. It's okay. It's alright.
It's
decent.
It's fine.
It's not like that Ponyo decent, where it's like, it's clearly made for kids, but...
It's not peak.
It's not peak, It's a fine 80 minutes.
Is it 80 minutes?
Yeah, it's 80 minutes.
Holy shit, really?
But it does not feel like 80 minutes.
It feels...
like 2 hours, weirdly enough.
I thought it was like an hour and a half, at least.
It's about like 86 minutes or something like that. Something like that.
Yeah. I think I mentioned that, like, it's kind of hard to compare some of his films because they're so different and they feel like they're made... Some of them are made for really different audiences. Like, if you put this up against Mononoke... It's like, it doesn't, it's like...
Hey, fun fact about Totoro.
Yeah?
When this movie came out in the US, I think it was the US or Japan, they paired it with Grave of the Fireflies.
Ooh, that is not a good double feature.
And kids went to see that.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Was it the first one or the second one, you think?
Oh, which one got shown first of the double feature? I think Totoro was the first one.
They warm you up.
They buttered you up,
boy. They buttered you up before you fucking... I haven't even seen Grave of the Fireflies. But I know how fucking bummer it is.
Yeah, it's a bummer movie.
Like, dude, can we go back to Totoro? Please?
Please.
Yeah, that's like such a polar opposite, because...
That's like a Ghibli Barbenheimer.
Nothing really bad ever happens in Totoro.
It's a very
It's a really low-stakes movie.
It's probably his, like, biggest low-stakes movie ever.
No, I guess Kiki's kind of... No, sorry. Kiki has that fucking insane
Has the
Zeppelin sequence.
Has the fucking Hindenburg.
Okay, yeah, never mind. No, it's Totoro.
The worst that happens is that little girl gets missing.
Lost. Which, I mean, to be fair...
That's terrifying, but...
It's pretty scary. Dude, okay. When you were... Okay, Kat fell asleep right before the conflict started.
It is. I literally fell asleep.
We were watching the movie... And like the scene they get the telegram that or the something that the mom isn't gonna be able to come over for the weekend, which kicks off the whole third act basically. Kat fell asleep. I started hearing her snoring.
I did fall asleep. I guess because this was the last movie we watched before we turned in for the night.
Yeah, it was late.
I was like, fuck. I was like trying.
And it's so low energy. It's such a chill, relaxed movie.
I think that is also because of...
And literally she missed the entire conflict. So she had to rewatch it. She woke back up when she heard the cat bus.
I did, yeah.
And she was like, oh, little cat?
Who's the cat bus?
Oh, who's a cat?
Shit.
And then she rewatched. I'm like, you missed like the whole... Literally, like she...
I missed the entire conflict of that movie.
Did you notice the part... Okay... Because one of the really scary parts is when they find the sandal in the pond.
Right.
And I'm like, ooh, that is like kind of spooky.
Duh.
And you get a shot where all the locals are searching through the pond and they got like nets and stuff. And I'm like, they're like, keep going until you find anything. And I was like, they're like checking to see if she drowned.
Right.
It's like really... kind of dark, like it's kind of real. It sort of comes out of nowhere.
Hey, maybe this was the perfect double feature.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to see what really happens?
Yeah.
Fuck, there's no Totoro, there's no cat bus to save you this time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how the movie gets solved.
Yeah.
It's funny because that conflict... So throughout this entire movie, I thought we would get more Totoro, but he's barely in the movie.
Oh, yeah, no, it was like he's... The only shots, like the only... bits from this movie that I really knew were the Totoro scene where Totoro roars. It's when she first meets him.
Yeah.
And the scene where they're at the bus stop.
Which is like the most iconic part.
That's like most of his screen time.
Yeah.
He's in like 5 minutes.
He's about in like 5 or 10 minutes of the movie. And I thought, maybe for the...
easily less than 10 minutes. Maybe 10 if you include
10.
the acorn scene.
Sure.
Okay.
And I thought that maybe they'd save him. maybe he'd be the big savior for the third act.
And he kind of is, but he's just like, eh...
He's like, oh, I don't feel like doing this shit. Get the cat bus to do it.
I am not leaving my tree.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, he doesn't even come back for like the ending.
That'll be actually says, I'm a pig. I made from money.
Yeah, it's like the cat bus is the true savior of the movie.
Yeah, shout out cat bus.
Shout out cat bus. What a cool design. I never thought about it.
It is fun. Yeah,
it's a very cute design. But yeah, I don't got much to say about it other than it's fine.
Well, I mentioned to you before that like there's movies that really feel like they're aimed at a child audience,
but I feel like more could enjoy it, like Ponyo.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's not bad. It's not bad.
It's
at
not
all.
A bad thing.
It's not made for an adult.
Right. It's like say Fantasia is something that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
But something like Chicken Little is made more for kids, or like Home on the Range.
And I can. Okay, Home on the Range was also for us.
We liked it. That's true.
Come on, Roseanne Barr and fucking Judi Dench in that movie.
True. Yeah, I guess I can't argue.
That's like half the enjoyment factor.
But yeah, this one feels strictly made and kids.
I don't mind that. Like I'm totally fine with that.
I'm all for that.
If you want to say I'm gonna make something
for the kids,
for them kids, for the youth them. But you're gonna put like a lot of effort into it because it's a really nice looking movie.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
The thing that I feel like if I imagine what I imagine a child audience gets out of it is that it's a story about two kids moving to a new place, and there's just it's not all the it's not like a Alice in Wonderland type. Everything is fantasy, but there's like these mysterious magical things that they get little glimpses of, and like that whole scene when they're trying to find the little soot sprites at the start of the movie,
which
is like that's like what a kid comes up with.
Right.
They're like when I was a kid, for instance, you probably didn't notice it because my fucking house has 1,000 things in it, and it's the most cluttered thing in the world. But in the living room, there's this little, it's like a little house. It's made out of, I want to say ceramic or something, and it's in like a little cage for some reason. And there's like a light inside the windows that turns on. And when I was a kid, my Amachi used to tell me that someone, like, there was like a spirit that lived in the house. And I would like watch it as a kid and be like, oh, can I see it? And I just wonder about it. And that's the kind of feeling that I think Totoro really hits on, which is, I think, why a lot of people who watch it as children, especially who are like around that same age range, like
of the main characters,
like middle school at the oldest, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It really resonates with them because it's like a thing that you don't see that often. And I think it captures that.
The closest thing I can see this compared to is like Where the Wild Things Are.
The movie or the book?
The book, not the movie. Not the movie.
Dude, I watched that movie when I was a kid.
That shit's freaky.
In the theaters, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's got that same feel to it.
Yeah. And so I think I can appreciate it in that end, but also it's just not made for me because I haven't been a child for a very long time.
It's definitely more on the cutesy side.
Oh, absolutely.
If you like that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is a really good movie to watch with your kids.
Oh, definitely. This is a good gateway for them if you want to watch a Ghibli movie with them.
Yeah. I like that it was like the dad was really present.
Yeah.
I just thought it was nice to see like a father-daughter relationship, which I feel like isn't that common.
I feel like maybe in Disney it's more of a common thing, but
yeah, I don't know. I just liked it. I kind of liked how I really liked the dad just in general. Like, he was really like he would tell them little stories about things and kind of like
help fuel their imagination. Almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's a cute movie.
I get it, but maybe not for me on the personal, on the Taigen scale.
It's fine. Yeah,
yeah,
it's okay. I do like that. Totoro kind of just became like this big thing, though. He's almost like one of the biggest Japanese like icon. Yeah, up there would say Pikachu almost.
Pikachu.
And the fucker's in Toy Story 3.
Or like Goku.
Goku, yeah. I don't know. He's cute. I could see.
It's a very easy. It's really easy to make a plush out of Totoro.
Which they have.
The other thing, it's really easy for a kid to draw Totoro.
Right, yeah.
He's just like a circle,
like a spherical character,
and you just draw some triangles, and it's Totoro. Right? So, I think that's really important for like a children's character is that they're really easy to doodle.
Right.
Yeah.
That's about all I got to say about it.
Yeah, not too much. It's not a very deep movie. No. I wasn't that engaged throughout most of it, to be honest. I wish there was more Totoro in it.
Me too. I think that is the big problem, is that Totoro's barely in it.
I kind of get why he's not in it, because it's kind of meant to be like these little glimpses, and that's the kind of like, it's trying to capture that sort of like when you're a kid and you don't know everything about the world. But as an adult, I'm like, show me the big guy.
Yeah, I'm surprised that, for him being their mascot, he's barely in his own movie.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that Ghibli never made, like, even, like, a show about Totoro. You'd think that'd be, like, a big thing.
They never really did that in general.
I guess they didn't make shows in general, but, like, I feel like Totoro, like, this almost Winnie the Pooh-esque show would be perfect for him.
It seems... Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're totally on it, on the money with that. You could tell a bunch of little stories about them, or a little book series, or
a book series would be good too,
something like that. As far as I'm aware, one doesn't exist.
No, none exist.
Yeah. Are you done talking about Totoro?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Because now we're going to talk about Porco Rosso!
Yeah!
Yeah, boy!
So this is like when the least talked about Miyazaki?
No one talks about Porco Rosso. And the only time I ever hear people talking about it is just go, yeah, it was okay. I thought it was decent. That's the only time I hear anyone
talk. I disagree. This was awesome.
And I was kind of going into that with like, okay, this might be one of his more kind of whatever ones. And then I was like, dude, he's so hard.
This is
Porco Rosso,
highly underrated.
It's so fucking good.
It's really, really good.
I fucking love.
Bordering on great.
Oh yeah, I think it's up there for me.
Me too. I'd say that too. It's up there.
Like it's one of the few. I guess the runtime also helps with this, but it's one of the few that I would be down to rewatch again on a somewhat regular.
Right. If somebody wanted to watch this, I would say let's do it.
If someone was like, "You want to rewatch Howl's Moving Castle?" I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know. It's like a whole thing, you know. It's like a 2-hour long.
It's like a 2-hour movie."
I'm like, "Ooh, I've always got time for some pork." That sounded a lot gayer than I wanted it to. Yeah, the only thing I knew was that he's a pig and he flies planes, and
I knew that. That's all I do.
And it's kind of, you don't honestly have to know anything else.
No, yeah, that's all you know. That's all you need to know.
I thought Porco Rosso. It's pretty simple. It's basically the main character is a former Italian airfighter who defected from the military because he didn't want to serve the fascist government in Italy. So this is a lot of his movies take place
like
in
World War II,
like 1930s,
1940s.
Yeah, around that point in time. So at least the 30s then, if they were fascists already. He's just kind of working as a bounty hunter, taking on little basically. It takes place in the Adriatic Sea.
That's right.
Yeah, so there's not much of like an established government. It's almost like the Wild West.
Almost,
there is kind of a cowboy thing.
It's got this like Wild West vibe to it. If it took place in like Europe, it's like
it's like Wild West, but they're fighter pilots,
right?
And they're flying over the ocean.
And it's got tropes that like a Wild West, like a Western would
have. Oh
yeah!
Oh my god! And Gina is like the saloon owner,
like a saloon
she's
owner.
A singer. Does she sing? She sings. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she does. There's a scene where she does.
And
sing.
all the outlaws hang out at her bar.
Right.
Wow, it totally is like a.
Maybe
Western.
That's why I like this movie. Shit, that could be it.
Whoa!
That's a good correlation.
Yeah. He's because he's like a very like lone gunman. The Vlone Ranger.
Lone Ranger, sure.
The Vlone
Ranger.
The Provolone Ranger. Yes.
You got your title for this episode.
Yes.
The whole conflict is also very Western like. Oh, I think my brother's home.
Okay.
You don't worry about that. Let's say this conflict is very also it's Western, really, like two guys fighting over a fucking woman. That's something that happens a lot.
That's a common
common trope.
Yeah. And he's the American. He's from Texas too.
I like whenever like Japanese media wants to like show like an American dude. He gotta be from Texas.
He's gotta be from Texas.
He's gotta have that accent,
and he's got a big nose. Because he's white.
He's white, yeah.
Well, I guess they're all, like, European. Like, everyone in the movie's white.
Is white, yeah.
Because they're all, like, Italians.
Most
French.
Most
of them are Italian, and a couple French people.
Mm-hmm. Really, the only two white people is the bad guy and Fio.
No, everyone is white. They're all Italian.
I meant, like, white American.
Fio is... Oh, right, she's from America.
She's from America, they strictly say.
Yeah, she's from America, but she is of Italian heritage.
Mm-hmm.
So, honestly, it's funny because it's a really simple movie. Most of the conflict is his plane isn't working, so he has to go to Milan, Italy, to go to his mechanic friend that he's known for forever to fix his plane because he's the only one who can do it. And a lot of the movie is just like them hanging out and him getting to know the family, or really just like this girl Fio, and I don't know. It was like there aren't a lot of Miyazaki movies. This is a really like talky movie.
A lot, very dialogue heavy.
Really dialogue focused,
which I didn't mind. It's fine.
No, because I really liked all the characters.
Right.
Porco Rosso is so cool. You just want to talk because I feel like you can't talk about the characters without talking. You have to talk about
talking about this movie. You have to talk about the characters.
Dude, he's so awesome. Dude, I think there was whatever scene where he's just like on a boat or something, and like he's in the wind and his coat is like flapping. I'm like, dude, he's so fucking cool.
You did say that.
and you were like, dude, he is.
He's like probably one of the best protagonists in a Ghibli movie. He's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I love the way he acts. He's like this...
Michael Keaton gives such a great performance.
He's Michael Keaton, yeah.
Yeah.
He's this, like, really... Yeah, well, he's like a cowboy Lone Ranger type, where he pretends to not have emotions or moral. He's like a stoic kind of guy, and he has this curse on him that he's a pig,
right? Which they don't dwell on too much.
No, I think it's kind of meant to be. It's kind of metaphorical, in a way where I think it's like. I think he says like all 40-year-old men are pigs or something.
Yeah, he does say that.
I think it's like a reflection of how he sees himself.
Sure.
Because he doesn't see himself as being a moral person or a principled person. Even though he does act pretty morally.
Yeah.
Like he dropped out of the Air Force.
The Air Force for like a very good reason.
And he does things for money. It's almost like he's like talked himself into
it's like line of work.
Yeah, or like how he thinks of himself. You know?
Right.
And because there's that scene where Fio is like, she can't fall asleep and she looks over,
right?
And he's a human for a second, and then she talks to him, and he's like a pig again, and which very like Howl's Moving Castle. Actually.
Yeah, that happens also in that movie. Something similar happens.
I think it might just. I think it's the idea is like it's a very literal kind of like a romance thing almost, like capital R romance.
Yeah,
where like the character's internal emotional state influences
what they see.
No, like the literal, like their actual physical state.
Oh, that too, yeah.
In like romantic literature, you'll see like if someone's really sad, they'll become sick and stuff like that, and they'll just they'll dying of a broken heart and stuff like that. And I think Miyazaki kind of likes stuff like that.
You can tell that there's a lot of that in his movies. Yeah, a lot of that.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of like because when he's working there, he's doing a selfless act. He's not doing it for money. He's doing it to save Fio from having to marry this guy.
God fucking dude.
and all that. And he's like doing it for someone other than himself. And kind of like in his solitude, he kind of reverts back to that human form. And then as soon as he realizes that she's watching him, it's like he's a pig again.
He's a pig again, which I think is...
Yeah.
Wow, when you say that, like, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, he puts it up again, almost.
I didn't put two and two together for that, but that's great.
And because every time someone asks him about something, or like, why do you do this, or why are you like this, he goes, I'm a pig.
Yeah, that's his response for everything.
That's just the way I am, basically. And he's almost like, it's just his nature to be that way, and he's almost not interested or not willing or brave enough to have any kind of ideals or something. He kind of strikes me as a character who is kind of disenfranchised.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like the scene, like in that same scene where he tells her about, he tells her that story, and you get the flashback.
Oh,
with the dog fight that they're in, the pig fight.
That's yeah.
and how all of his friends died, and this guy who had just gotten married, and all of them died, and he saw them going up to heaven. And it's almost like this like really transformative experience for him, and I wonder if almost, and I'm just like reading into it a lot, but I don't know, I like the movie so much that I just want to. It's almost like in my head it's like, was that the experience that made him wonder what was he even fighting for if he didn't agree with the government,
right?
And all these horrors of war were happening. And him, because I think she says like that's like God giving you a second chance.
Yeah, he does say that. They do say that specifically.
And it's like that was his sign to shift gears in his life, to switch lanes, and like he's just kind of become like, well, this is just kind of the way that it is now that I did what I did, and that's the way that my life is now. I don't know, like such a cool character. He's so, I don't know.
He's very fleshed out. I don't know. I feel like you get to know a lot about him.
Literally. He's a big old guy. He's a big old pig.
He's a big old pig.
Big old porker.
I don't know. He's honestly probably one of the best protagonists I've seen in like an animated film in general. He's just...
I think he's my... Well, yeah, he's really compelling.
Yeah.
I love watching him. uh, there's I really liked, because on paper it sounds like just
like, oh, a pig flying a plane.
Yeah,
okay,
or
so
he's
what?
not even flying for most of the movie. It's like a pig spending time at a mechanic shop for half the movie.
Half the movie.
But it's like, I love the way that they talk, and I like the relationship between him and Fio.
Oh yeah, great dialogue.
I love
great,
Fio.
Me too.
Yeah.
She's a very fun character.
Yeah, I don't know. When I said like dialogue focused, I meant that like, obviously his other movies have plenty of dialogue in them and characters talking, but this is one where it felt like a lot of the appeal and like the central point of the movie was found in the conversations the characters had. Like, I love the bit when he says that he doesn't want her to work on his plane, and she's like, is it because I'm a woman or because I'm young? And he goes, it's both.
Yeah. There's a lot of good one-liners. This is easily the funniest Ghibli movie.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
A lot of like just the banter from Fio and Porco Rosso is great. Yeah. Some of the side characters are fucking hilarious. Ray Romano's brother's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, the sky pirate guy.
He reminds me a lot of Bluto.
Yeah. I really liked the little line where this is gonna sound weird to focus on specifically, but it's when she's insisting on that she's gonna go with him on the flight.
Right.
And he basically insinuates, he says something like, well, do you really trust me if I get shot down and it's just the two of us on an island or something? And she's like, shut the fuck up, I'm going.
Yeah, I'm still going.
And I thought that was funny because I'm like, I don't think he would ever like do anything to her. He's just trying to scare her because he
doesn't want him to die.
Because he's already like really insisted that she doesn't go for her safety, and then he's like, well, what if I like molest you?
Yeah. Even though he's not gonna do it.
And then she does it. She's like, yeah, and he's like, fucking fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Your big ass in that seat. Yeah, I don't know. Everything about it was so fun.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I like that scene where he's at the movie theater, and it's like, and it's a little rubber hose.
It's clearly supposed to be like a Fleischer cartoon,
where it's like the evil pig in a plane has stolen like a girl, and he's like, "This movie sucks."
Yeah.
this is anti-pig.
I love that line in that scene specifically too, where he's talking to the Tom Kenny policeman.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was Tom Kenny.
It was Tom Kenny. Yeah. Where he's like, I'd rather be a pig than a fascist. I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, because he's like, come back to the military. And I don't know, that was just like, a lot of the characters, like, it's funny because when you have something that's so dialogue-centered, you really get the chance to have really nuanced characters without, like, being really over the top about it.
Right.
Because, like, obviously, he's still friends with this guy, even though like he's serving this government that Porco doesn't agree with, and like and he obviously is still like his friend is still like in has the interests of the government and the military and all that, but like he'll help out his friend, and like the way they talk to each other, I don't know, it's like really interesting characters, and you get a lot of that from just the way that they speak to each other,
right? And
what you kind of infer about their relationships. And then when they do take actions, it's like, that you can really compare that to the dialogue and stuff, and what you learn about them from that.
Yeah,
I know, it was super cool.
Yeah,
Porco Rosso.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's really underrated. And I was gonna say, like, do you think it's just because, like, there's not that much merch of it?
I mean, I never see merch of it, so
no.
This is probably one of the least merchandised films of theirs.
I forgot until we started doing this. I forgot it was even...
I
forgot it existed.
And which is a shame, because it's a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
It's an underrated film.
Do you think that it doesn't play as well to children?
I think this is definitely, like, one that I think adults will get more out of it than kids will.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you like the premise, if you find that thing kind of interesting, sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is going to have that mass appeal that, like, Spirited Away or Totoro has.
Yeah, no, because, I mean, she's 17. She was like a child character, basically. At least in, like, the way that she relates to the other characters. Because they're all, like, grown adults. And like... But yeah, there's not really like that many child characters. There isn't like a child POV. Most of the movie is spent following this like 40-year-old pig man,
right?
who's these like, he doesn't emote much, and he has these like political opinions, and he's like, yeah, it's not a very typical child movie protagonist.
Yeah, no.
And I think that there's probably, I imagine a lot of people who got into Miyazaki movies probably watched them when they were kids.
Yeah, and a lot of them are like these child protagonists, like Chihiro or Kiki, or the kids from Totoro.
Yeah.
And to go from that to a 40-year-old man pig is
you're like, oh, this is boring. There aren't any like fun creatures or interesting world or magic or anything
outside of like the cursed pig thing. It's a very grounded movie,
and the pig thing is very metaphorical anyway, and it's isn't really like, no one ever really reacts besides going like, they acknowledge that he's a pig,
but that's it.
But it's not like treated as a weird thing,
right? Right.
So it's not a very fantastical movie, but it's like, I don't know, it's so solid and interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, I love the scene when they take off from the garage and they're on the waterway. That was so good.
That's cool.
I loved that scene, and they're going under the bridges and they're trying not to like clip the wings. That was so much fun. And the dog fight, I love how they just end up in like the dog at the end of the dog fight. They just have a boxing match in the water. And,
it's very like Three Stooges-y. It's got this like I wasn't sure how that thing was gonna end, and the fact that it ends like a punch out fight, it's fucking hilarious.
It's like Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, it felt like an older kind of movie in the way that I kind of felt like Mononoke did, but a very different style.
It's a very different style, definitely.
Like I said, Mononoke felt in a lot of ways like an old Shogun samurai kind of movie.
This feels more like an old Western.
Yeah. And I guess maybe that might be why I resonated with that. But
right. Yeah, it's great.
It's so good. And then I kind of like that you don't find out if they get together at the end. It's kind of implied.
It's a very ambiguous ending.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't mind that. I think that there's a lot of... That's also like a very old kind of story thing, where it's like, it's kind of left up to you if the character's going to change... If they're going to change in that specific way or not. And like, I don't know. I think Theo even says like the last line is like, that's our little secret. That's our secret if you know, they ever got together.
Right.
But you know, you can just kind of be like, yeah, maybe they did, and you can kind of imagine it. Yeah. More like Hayao mid shitty.
Right,
mid sucky. There it is.
Yeah. All right.
You laughed at that one earlier.
I did laugh at that one earlier.
Yeah, it's not as funny the second time.
Yeah.
You want to talk about The Wind Rises?
The final movie.
The Jedi Rises. Sorry.
The Last Jedi.
Wait. Rise... What is the Star Wars with Rise?
Rise Skywalker.
Rise of... Yeah. The Skywalker Rises. His final movie. Oh, sorry. It was going to be his final movie.
And then he's like, I got one more in me.
I got one more in me. I love that stupid fucking meme.
I love that shit, too.
Got one more in me.
So the first technical...
The first one you saw.
Not the first Miyazaki movie, not even the first Ghibli movie I've seen. Oh. That would be Spirited Away. The first one I've seen in theaters.
In theaters, that was the one.
And only one of two that I've seen in theaters.
The other one being Boy and
the Heron.
Because, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they do reruns of...
Oh, they do.
On the anniversaries.
If you have like a AMC or a Cinemark, they do this thing every year called Studio Ghibli Fest, where they'll show movies, Miyazaki or Ghibli films, every month or so for like $5.
Oh, okay.
So if maybe one of these days we'll do the other non-Miyazaki movies. If they ever show one in theaters, maybe we'll go see one.
Yeah, it could be fun.
It could be fun, yeah.
Maybe we could watch Kaguya together in the theater, and I'll see if you fall asleep too.
Oh, I wonder, because they only bring back like Howl or Spirited Away. I don't know if they've ever done Kaguya.
Kaguya, it's so good though. Sucks. It's a really good movie.
We'll see if they bring it back in theaters. I would hope so.
But because it's not a Miyazaki, it never gets...
No
one ever talks about it.
Yeah.
It was pure random chance. I happened to see it at a convention with my friends.
Yeah.
And we walked out like, dude, that was like a really cool movie.
Right.
That was awesome.
Well, I haven't seen it actually, so...
Yeah.
I'll see it eventually.
Yeah.
I'll have time for it. But Wind Rises.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
It is the absolute least fantasy movie of any of his.
Yeah.
Even more than Porco Rosso.
Porco Rosso.
Yeah.
This is definitely the most grounded of him. Yeah, I'd say of all these, the one that's like the most grounded.
Yeah, like it's in the real world in 1930s, 40s Japan. And there's the closest it gets is the couple dream sequences.
But even that is still very grounded.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, it was a dream.
I
liked this one overall. I did enjoy it.
I enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
A little bit of it is nostalgic bias.
Yeah, because you saw it.
I did see it when I like seeing this in an IMAX theater was really cool.
That would probably be sick for some of the flying scenes.
For some of the flying scenes, it was amazing to see. But I think rewatching this 10 years later, because this movie came out February 2014 for America.
No way.
So it's been
about a year later.
About a year, 10 years later.
Yeah. Sorry, 10
years later. It does kind of lose its luster because I think this movie's way too fucking long.
Oh, you thought so?
And I think if you could trim a little bit of it, it would be a bit stronger.
What would you take out?
I thought a lot of that first act. Which is, I know that's a lot of like where a lot of the movie grows.
Yeah. Like the stuff with him, getting the job, building the plane and stuff.
I guess if you find that thing interesting,
okay, yeah.
Sure. A lot of people will not find that interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to heavily depend on if you find this topic of planes like Miyazaki.
Yeah.
If you find that shit interesting.
If you like planes, this is a good movie for you.
Oh, yeah. If you love planes.
Yeah. It's like this movie and planes.
With Dane Cook.
Yeah. Is Dane Cook in that movie?
He's the main character in that.
What?
Yeah.
Plane Cook?
Plane Cook.
Yeah, Wind Rises. I really I think I liked it a lot more than you did. Well, I don't know a lot more, but
maybe like a significant, like a little amount. Sure,
yeah, the thing about like that first half is that I think you really enjoyed the romance part of it.
I really like that second half where you see more of Jiro's outside life.
Yeah, and I like that too. I really like the romance. I think this is probably the best romance he ever did. I'm usually not very into his romance.
I think Howl has a stronger romance.
That's true. Okay, Howl.
I was looking at the list right now. I'm like,
I forgot about that.
I think Howl has a stronger romance, but this is like second.
Yeah, the thing. So with Miyazaki, I find that a lot of his movies, there'll be a boy and a girl, and then at some point someone goes, "You're in love with her," and they're like, "I am." And then you're like,
you're right.
I'm like, I guess they're in love. And then like that happens in like a bunch of his movies. Like that happens in Mononoke.
That happens in Mononoke. That happens
in Ponyo.
Ponyo, Spirited Away, kind of ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was just those one. Kiki,
yeah, that kind of happens. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because like those couple examples stuck out as like
right.
Usually when he does romance plots, I think it's because of his plots that have romance in them. Excuse me, or have that aspect to them. For me, they kind of tend to sort of come out of nowhere.
Right. Sure.
This one I felt was like really. I really liked the way that it was, because it wasn't just like built up to it. There's a lot of time spent with them actually in the relationship.
Which I kind of feel like there isn't enough of that. I feel like we could have used a little more of it.
Yeah, maybe.
There's some good scenes. Like I like the scene where he's like fucking with like the little paper airplane.
Oh, and she's cute. On the balcony and he's tossing. That's really cute.
But I don't know. I wish I had just a little more of that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of her, she has like this fucking Kills of the Flower Moon bit where she gets
she has tuberculosis
from her mother,
and her condition worsens.
It worsens throughout the movie. No, she has a
lung hemorrhage. Which is caused by tuberculosis.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, it just gets worse throughout the movie, and you barely after that you maybe get like a couple scenes of them together. You get like very small, like 1-2 minute scenes of them together each time. It's very sparse.
I feel like I feel like the scenes they had together, I felt like
they're strong.
That was kind of the point, is that they didn't have a lot of time together, and he was kept away because of his job.
I guess I could see that.
So he like really tried to spend as much the most amount of time.
I mean, yeah, I guess he does bring up like, yeah, I do want to spend as much time because she might not.
She's gonna die.
She's gonna really die soon.
And like I thought the scene where they hold hands was really sweet.
Oh yeah,
that was
really, I was like, oh,
that was really nice. Yeah, I liked I don't know, just like the scenes with them together. It really felt like it was a really convincing romance.
Yeah,
personally. And the way that they would like think about each other and send each other letters when they were away. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like I was really sold on it, and it did make it really kind of emotional for me when you get to that part near the end.
Right.
And it's like, and she leaves because she doesn't want him to see her die.
Right, which is heartbreaking. Like, that's really rough.
Man, dude. I was like, because like she says she's going out for a walk, and it was like that definitely like that affected me quite a bit. I think
it did for me too.
I felt that shit.
I felt that shit too. There was like a tear almost came out.
Yeah. Because so there's the romance, which I think is one big aspect of it, and the other one is that this is really a movie about like having a passion for something.
Right. And how that passion can
it's like where it leads him.
Yeah.
It's which is why I was telling you that like there was it's funny because you can compare this to The Boy and the Heron, which was his like, I got another one.
Yeah, this is
and it has this another. It also, that movie also has these kinds of themes about creativity and stuff ending and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's kind of interesting to compare them because in this one you have, for him it's like airplane engineering.
Right, which is something that Miyazaki, if you don't know, he's very passionate about. There's a plane in at least one of his movies. He'll find a way to put something,
or flying,
or ships,
or the sky.
He
loves it. Because I believe his father worked at an airplane factory.
Someone can correct
something
this,
like that,
but
some kind of
he has history with airplanes, regardless.
Yeah. And so for him, that's something that he's like really close to, and so comparing an engineer to like an artist, I thought was interesting, where he has these dreams where he's talking to his like idol, this Italian Italian engineer, and he says something like an artist only has like 10 years or something. And how many movies does he have?
It total?
Yeah, like at least at Ghibli.
At not counting Castle Cagliostro, for 12.
12. Okay. Because I was like, if that was his 10th movie, that would
11.
11.
That would be the 10th one, actually.
That would be the 10th one.
So that's actually
you only have 10 years to make it, and it's like, obviously it's not years. You spend a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
But it's like, how did you spend it? And then there's kind of this idea that I don't know. Okay, if you're comparing the airplanes that Jiro is building to the movies that Miyazaki's made, there's kind of a weird element to it, which is that these are planes that they stuffed little Japanese boys into to go fucking explode into a ship.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that why he doesn't really like go there?
Maybe?
Because I've heard about this, but obviously I hadn't seen the movie, but I'd heard about how it, like, Miyazaki's a really anti-war person. Like, you watch Naussica, and it's, like, really, really clear
that he hates war.
He thinks this shit is stupid and dumb and pointless. And then you get to The Wind Rises, and it's, like, a movie about the war that he grew up directly after.
Right.
and it's like the main character is making the planes that fought in the war, which where like specifically also your country is kind of infamous for using this tactic of like suicide bombing, plane bombing. And like I think he says at the end of the movie, like none of the planes he built ever came back.
Nope.
And and it's like it never really like talks about it.
It dances around the idea of it.
And it's weird because I like Jiro a lot as a character.
Oh yeah.
Like I found him really likable, and he's like a really noble guy in a lot of ways, and obviously the romance and all that. But like it's weird because on this one issue he kind of almost seems ambivalent
to what he's doing what he's doing for this war.
Yeah,
because he kind of doesn't know.
Well, he
knows, but
yeah.
It's like passion comes first before the actual what he's actually doing this for.
Yeah, because they have that conversation where in his dream, where his idol asks him like, "Would you rather live in a world with or without pyramids?"
Oh, right.
And that's obviously like, would you rather something existed rather than not? And I thought it was a little weird that like the message of that scene was, yeah, I know that the planes I built are going to be used for war, but like, goddamn, they are really cool, aren't they?
That's true.
You didn't tell me they had planes in war. I think I might start rethinking this whole position.
Right.
And it's not like, I'm sure there were plenty of people who actually lived in Japan at that time who were airplane engineers.
Yeah.
Who knew what was going on and were, like Jiro, kind of ambivalent towards it. And it's not like it's not realistic.
Sure.
But it's just kind of weird to, like, make a movie about that and not have it really
talk about it.
Yeah. And, like, you know, all the time we spend in Germany...
Which is very little.
It's pre-Nazi, I think. I believe it's pre-Nazi. It's during I believe it's the Weimar Republic, because they're using I believe that's the
I didn't catch it, so I wouldn't know.
It's the blue. It's like blue and white, which I believe was Weimar. It's funny that they like inverted that for red and black with the Nazis. By the end, it's because a couple of years pass over the course of the movie.
Right.
And I think, but by the end, definitely the Nazis, I think it's like...
Definitely at least World War II.
It's probably like 39. 39, probably like this bit where he's at the hotel.
Yeah.
Because the guy there's the German guy talking to him. And he mentions the Nazis, so they're absolutely
they're thing. A thing, at least.
And Hitler. So it's probably like late 30s.
The
last few years before the war completely kicked off.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been like around the era of appeasement.
Sure, right.
Like that kind of late into it. And it you know, they're going to Germany and they're talking to the guys and you're like, that's a German plane that bombed people.
That killed people, right.
And he's like, dude, this is so fucking cool. It's a little weird.
It
right?
is kind of weird thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, they never really talked about it.
Yeah.
Just thinking back on it, I'm like, huh, interesting.
That he's got, it's not just that they don't talk about it, because it does come up.
It does come up,
but he's like, meh, whatever. I just like building planes.
Right.
You're like, okay, I mean... but like, you never really find out how he feels about it.
He never explicitly talks about his feelings of the war.
If there was if there was like a scene where he at least had some kind of acknowledgement or like thing about how he wishes airplanes existed in the world as opposed to being weapons or something.
Yeah.
I think that would help it a little bit to make it feel a little less weird.
A little more human.
Yeah. Or just to like get some clarity, because it is like this thing that kind of, especially in the back half when he really starts getting involved with like the planes and all that.
Right.
And you're like, oh, dude, people are going
to die.
Suicide bomb in your planes. Like, you're like, dude, what if they had a scene where he's like, and there will be no ejections, something like that.
Right. It does, in that way, feel a lot like Oppenheimer.
Yeah, they're kind of... It's a similar kind of deal.
Similar deal.
Where you have, like, this really, like... I mean, he's called a genius in the movie. He's, like, this prodigy kind of...
like, engineer.
Who's, like, brought on to do this thing. And, again, also in World War II.
Right.
And his girlfriend is voiced by Emily Blunt.
Which is really eerie. Yeah.
She's playing both sides of the war. She got reincarnated.
Yeah. Welcome back, Emily Blunt.
Yeah. But it's like, Oppenheimer is like really, I guess the contrast is that Oppenheimer's really squarely puts a lot of focus on the internal turmoil of what he did.
Right. Whereas this is the opposite.
Yeah, and it's a different situation because with the atom bomb, it was like that's what I think is what's so interesting about that movie and the moral dilemma, because like someone was gonna make an atom bomb at some point, and it's like, okay, well, do you want like Hitler, who's like on 15 different methamphetamines and is like an insane guy, to have a nuclear bomb? Like who should have it first? And it's like, I guess us.
Yeah, we should have it first.
Basically. It's like the interesting ethical part of that movie is that like he kind of had to do it. It's like,
right.
Yeah, but it's a horrible thing. And it's like, fuck, like how do you deal with that? And with this movie, it's less. It's just like, it's like if Oppenheimer was like, dude, I just fucking love making bombs.
I love making bombs.
Dude,
yeah,
I love like the shape. They're so cool.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, and it's weird because it's not a big part of the movie, so it's almost like we're critiquing a part of the thing that doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist. Yeah. I guess if you look deep into it, like we are, it's a problem. But if you take that out, it's still good.
It is a good movie. Like I really enjoyed it. You know. Oh, I thought it was a really the earthquake scene at the start I found really intense.
Right.
I hadn't really seen an earthquake depicted like that. Like the shots of the houses
jumping up
and shit, and everything getting displaced, and like it was really intense, and I was into it. And I don't know, because I feel like he wanted to make this movie because it was like he fucking loves planes, and he's like, I'm gonna make an airplane movie.
Yeah.
And I want it to be about, and in the same way that like The Boy and the Heron has like a lot of really allegorical stuff to his life with like the setting and stuff.
Right.
I feel like he was kind of doing that first with this one, where it's like, this is the movie that is like,
he wanted to go out on,
based on like, it's really him,
resonated with him. Yeah.
Like it's not literally like this is an autobiography, but it's all of this stuff that's kind of a part of him and his experience that he's tried to capture in his movies.
Right.
And it's really personal in that way. And it's like, I have this passion for airplanes, and my dad, you know, like worked in like this factory, and there's like the engineering of airplanes is like this art form, and I'm a lifelong artist, and like, bless you.
Thank you.
And the whole deal with like making things and you don't know how they're going to be used or something, and like I can totally see it, and it made a lot of sense because like, oh, this is if you're going to set it, like maybe he didn't want it to be fantasy. Because you could have done a story like this and had it be fantasy.
Like Boy and the Heron. But
Boy and the Heron is like also in the... What I mean is like if it was in like, you know, Howl takes place in like fantasy Germany.
Sure.
And so you can take some of the details and kind of like move them around so it's less awkward. But I think he really wanted to make this...
very grounded.
Set in the real world and real history. And it's like, well, when and where are you going to set it? The only place it makes sense is like Japan in like the 30s and 40s.
Right.
Which is really funny because, do you remember, you know, Kantai Collection?
Yeah.
So, if anyone who doesn't know, Kantai Collection was the original World War II battleships, except they're anime girls.
Yeah.
And then there was also Ozerlane, which was a similar thing. The main difference between them was that Ozerlane technically takes place in like a weird alternate sci-fi future, and it's not in World War II. It's the ship girls are just like the spirits of the ships. It's dumb.
I never got into these because it sounded stupid.
It's stupid, but like I don't know, it was a game. Anyway, that's like how they kind of get around it. So it's like no, it's not they're like Nazis. They're just ships that happen to be made by and for Nazis, but it's not the actual ships. You know, it's just like their manifestations or whatever.
Yeah.
Concole was like, nah, dude, this is World War II.
Yeah.
This is, and you start getting into like a really weird part where it's like, you know, they do a lot of like old ships, like old Japanese ships, and they start going further and further, and it's like, so like, what do you do when you get to the 40s? And what they do is literally just like, well, like, what if Japan like wasn't that bad? And you're like, dude, seriously?
Yeah.
And that's a little bit, it's not like revisionism, but like it's the same problem that a lot of like World War II. See, we have it so easy because if you want to make a World War II thing based in like America or like British people,
it's really easy to do.
It's like, oh yeah, we've got no problems, like Wolfenstein. But if you're Japanese, it's like,
but you know,
yeah. But I don't know. It's funny because as a movie, I think it's really good.
It doesn't hinder, like, this thing doesn't hinder the movie at all.
No.
It's still good.
I like stories. I mentioned this to you, but I like stories that are about people who are really passionate about things. And so, like, I'm not an airplane guy, but I just liked, because obviously Miyazaki, like the way, obviously the script, you can tell, like he's getting into like a level of technical detail. Where they're talking about like, oh yeah, this is the rope that pulls on this and it distributes the weight like that.
Right.
It doesn't like linger on it too much.
But there's bits of it.
But there's enough that you're like, okay, he's like
he knows.
Really into this and he's writing from like an actual
from experience.
And I don't know, I just kind of like I liked getting that kind of like excited explanation of why airplanes are so cool. It's like Miyazaki is info dumping to me.
This is kind of his info dump. It's funny. This is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
If only this was his last movie.
Oh yeah.
I like Boy and the Heron, but yeah, this is a better send off movie for him than Boy and the Heron is. If these switch places, I think that would be a stronger thing.
Okay, so I learned this about Boy and the Heron. Apparently, this made it make a lot of sense to me. One of the reasons the movie took so long to make isn't just because he's like older. Was one of the reasons
that it's based on a book.
No, it's because he started writing the script, and about halfway through writing the script, Isao Takahata, who was the director of Kaguya,
and like a couple other
ones, and
he passed away.
He was a co-founder of Ghibli, and obviously like a pretty long time friend.
He's a big person of the studio,
and he died halfway through Miyazaki writing it, like in 2018. And apparently he took a really long break from the script, and then he came back, and there was someone who worked on the production, like some producer or something, and who gave an interview or something like that, and they basically said that after he came back to the script, it went in a really different direction. And that kind of made a lot of sense to me, because in retrospect, I can kind of see how Boy and the Heron is sort of like two movies.
Right, you could see that. It's like two different styles of movies.
I feel like originally it started out, you could almost feel it.
Yeah.
Like originally it started out where Miyazaki is Mahito, the main character, and he's this boy, and it's like, oh, that's him. And then you get to like the second half, and it's like Miyazaki's also the grandfather, or the granduncle, because it's become a metaphor for creativity and the tower that's going to collapse, and not being able to keep something up, and his shithead son who can't direct an animated movie to save his life, and how he hates his son.
Right.
And it's like, I think for me, that was part of the, like, it when I said, like, unfocused, I think I was feeling that. Like, he wanted to almost make two different movies,
dedicated to like different topics.
Of
his life,
and they don't have that much to do with each other,
right?
And I think that's part of where like the cross conundrum of that movie, like thematically for me, and why I didn't really resonate with it a lot. Because I watched this and I really liked it, and I really dug the kind of metaphors for creativity. Yeah. I'm almost curious to like rewatch Boy and the Heron now to see if I would like it more.
Hey, I have friends that still want to see it, so one of these days I probably will. I'm gonna have to.
Maybe we can. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it was in like a group setting because we would justify it. But like, because now I'm curious about like, because I really disliked it when we watched it.
You did. You hated that thing.
I fucking couldn't stand that movie. Like, it really annoyed me, and. Now I wonder, like, would I feel differently about it?
Now that you've seen all of his movies?
If I have a better idea for what he does? Or would I... Yeah. Or would I feel the same? Or would I dislike it more?
Well, that's what the future holds.
Yeah.
I did say that I do want to watch the rest of the Ghibli.
The giblets.
The giblets. It won't be for a while, so don't expect it like anytime soon. But
yeah,
I think it's a good start to at least watch the big man's movies.
Oh, come on!
Taigen's trying to down a pin right now, and he can't get
1, 2, 3, 4. There. All right. Okay, we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. You want to put together this tier list?
So I already have mine.
Okay, so explain your tier list.
So S tier is Ponyo. I didn't talk about Ponyo much. I think it's great. I think it's just got this nice... I described it to a friend as like if 90s Nickelodeon made a Ghibli movie, and I think it's awesome. It's got
Actually,
this
that's not that bad.
It's got this like really like Rocco, Ren and Stimpy-ish like look to it, or like Rugrats.
That's really funny. Really? You think Rugrats?
It's got like this like big-eyed, like kind of like distorted look to it, and I think it's really nice. And I just like the character. I like the vibe. It's for a loose retelling of The Little Mermaid. It's the best retelling of The Little Mermaid. I think it's better than like Disney's.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, I think way better.
Put it on the line.
I think it's probably one of the best animated movies I've seen.
Okay.
Period.
All right.
Howl's Moving Castle is also in that S tier. I think it's beautiful. I like the animation. I like the character. The ensemble is great. Mm-hmm. I like the romance because, yeah.
You want to talk about how you want to fuck Howl more than anything in the world?
I'm sure you already did.
I did.
Kiki's Delivery Service is also in the S tier.
That's your S tier. Wow.
Yeah, this is my S tier.
Had you seen it before we watched it together?
No.
Wow, okay.
I think it reminds me a lot of like Lady Bird, or like those like coming of age movies, like Greta Gerwig type movies.
Okay.
I think if I saw this in high school, I would have loved this shit. It resonates with like that topic of like, I already told this and you talked about it in the podcast last, that it talks about like rekindling passions and overworking, which is things that I'm feeling right now currently in college and having a job.
Finish your semester.
Finishing my semester in theater. Yeah. It hit me on a personal level, so that's why it's on S tier. Porco Rosso is also on that S tier.
It's a peak, dude. It's just peak. Pound it.
A tier is Spirited Away, Castle in the Sky, and Mononoke. Spirited Away is it's a classic. What can I say? There's not really much to say about it. I think it's good. Same thing with Mononoke. It's good. Mm-hmm. B tier, Totoro, Wind Rises, Boy and the Heron. I didn't talk about Boy and the Heron much, but yeah. I feel the same way as I do Wind Rises. I think Wind Rises is the better movie of the two. But I think that it's like a fine send-off. I think Wind Rises is a better send-off movie for the man.
Okay.
But it's decent.
And then Totoro is just...
it's cute. It's cute. It's cute. Yeah. And then the only C tier movie is Naussica, which I've already said. No, it's fine.
You didn't care for it.
I didn't care for it. So now it's Taigen's turn.
Let's do mine. All right.
You're going to have to do it yourself.
That's fine.
You can just mess with mine. It's fine.
Okay. Let me put them down here because it's easier for me to like... Can I put the...
No, you can't.
I can't?
No, you can't.
Okay, so how do I make a new one? How do I look at it again?
You're just gonna have to mess with... No, you just have to mess with it.
No, wait, hang on.
Oh, wait. Never mind.
What? It didn't load.
You're just gonna have to mess with mine.
Fine.
It's fine. You can mess with mine.
I'll put them all down at the bottom. I think I'll probably start... Yeah, I'll put them down at the bottom and then... figure it out. I'm gonna rename. Sometimes I have trouble putting like super hard tier numbers to things, so it's probably easiest for me to start out with just my favorite ones. Just let me zoom in on this. I guess we'll just call S tier my favorite ones. So that would be where is it? Howl's Moving Castle, Mononoke. We should have done this on my laptop.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're doing it on yours. Mononoke. I think I gotta put Porco. I think I gotta put Big Man up there. I gotta put Porco Rosso.
I figured you would.
Those would be my favorites. It was Naussica one of my favorites.
You said it was. You said it was top 3. You told me it was top 3.
Oh, it totally is. It's in like, I would say, I'll put it up there with Ponyo.
All right.
So I would say like Howl's, Mononoke, Porco Rosso, Nausica, and Ponyo were my favorites. And then if I had to like really order them, I would say in the weirdest way possible, I would put Ponyo and Nausica on the same in the same like spot.
Like they're both number 4, I guess.
Like 4/ like this one/this one.
Sure.
Even though they're completely different movies, but in terms of enjoyment, I would probably put them there. Let's see.
Your A tier, I guess.
I feel like it would be easier to talk about the ones that I didn't care for first, like go to the bottom.
Okay.
And I would say that ones I wasn't as into, I guess Totoro.
Is Totoro your C tier?
I guess if we're just calling this the ones I didn't really care for. Let's say Totoro. No, I definitely liked Spirited Away more than Totoro.
Okay.
Castle in the Sky should go not in the favorites, but underneath it, so A tier. Also put Wind Rises there. Do I like Kiki's as much as Spirited Away? I don't know. Those are kind of weird movies to compare, anyway.
Sure, I can see that. Having like a trouble putting it together.
I'm gonna make one more tier.
Are you gonna make a D tier?
Yeah, just because.
Sad.
Because I wouldn't put... Fucking... Oh my god. Close. Because I wouldn't put... let's say... Bad. And again, I'm open to rewatching Boy and the Heron, and my opinion might change, but based off of what I remember and my initial visceral reaction to it, I'm going to put it at the bottom. And then I guess I'll put Totoro in the middle. Huh, okay, yeah. You know what's funny is I actually did like a majority of his movies.
It's funny that we both had one that we didn't care for. Like, exactly.
Yeah. So mine would be... My favorites were Howl's Moving Castle, Mononoke, Porco Rosso, Nausica, and Ponyo. In the tier below that of movies that I really enjoyed. But I wouldn't say are like total... They don't have like the little edge that makes me really, really like them. Would be Castle in the Sky and The Wind Rises. Spirited Away and Kiki's were movies that I ended up enjoying, but I don't think had... didn't like consistently hook me where I was like really enjoying myself for most of them. But I think as movies, they're good.
Sure.
Totoro is just kind of like... I say C tier in a very like... It's okay kind of way. Mm-hmm. People are like, oh, you must hate it. You put it in C tier. But no, I think it's like a good movie. It's just one that isn't really made for me. And that is, I'm not in the audience range for it. But I think for the audience it's made for, it is probably really good. And then I had a visceral negative reaction to The Boy and the Heron.
Not even like a D tier or like an F tier.
I just said bad. I just dislike. Although I am open to rewatching it. So, yeah, this was really interesting. I think I probably enjoyed this more than watching the fucking Nickelodeon movies. Besides Hotel for Dogs.
Do you even want to continue those?
What are the other ones we have to do?
There's like 20 more that we got to do.
Oh my fucking god. There's like TMNT 2.
There's like
the Bay Turtles.
A couple SpongeBob movies. Like one more Rugrats movie we need to do.
There's another Rugrats movie?
It's the crossover with the Wild Thornberrys.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a bunch of live action. We haven't done Nacho Libre still.
I would like to watch Nacho Libre again.
Sure, we could
Just as in general,
Sure.
I wouldn't mind rewatching that one.
I guess if anyone's wondering where that
Oh yeah, we just gave up.
We just gave up.
We just went through all the good movies.
No,
not all of them.
There's Nacho Libre and there's a couple SpongeBob movies I think are pretty good. But
I think I would, because obviously I've seen the original SpongeBob movie. I think I'd be interested in at least seeing the other ones.
There's like 2 others.
Yeah, I know there's 2 more.
Yeah. So if anyone's curious, I'll see if we can find
care before we watch JoJo.
Yeah, we need maybe we'll do like a balanced meal. We'll do one or 2 of those and like a couple episodes of JoJo. Yeah. What a part of balanced media consuming.
Not balanced diet. But this, I've never... So
this is definitely the best marathon we've done.
I think it was the most interesting because his movies are just kind of, I think, interesting to talk about in general.
Right.
And, like, would I say I'm a huge Miyazaki fan after this? No. Although I do think he had, like, not in general. It's very movie by movie, as you can tell.
Yeah.
But, like... I get it. I get why there are people who are like super into it. Part of it, I think, is that I haven't watched these until like the last couple weeks.
Right.
And so it's not part of that.
You don't have that nostalgia.
That childhood nostalgia, really.
As opposed to me, where I grew up with a few of these at least. So and the nostalgia's there.
Yeah. So there's people who grew up with these movies, like watching all of them, or at least most of them, and like when they say they're really into it, I'm like, okay, because at a certain point, like the thing that you're super into isn't even objective. It's just like, I just really like. You just really like this shit. Like I'm gonna love Mega Man forever because I grew up with Mega Man and I just love him, and he's my friend.
My neighbor Mega Man.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see you watch this from a newcomer's perspective, especially.
Oh yeah, were you surprised at any of my opinions?
No, I think a lot of it lined up with what I know you as a person. Like say like Spirited Away, like it's okay, but
you expected that?
Yeah, so like
okay,
I know you, especially when we did the Disney movies. I'm like, like the bigger stuff like Hunchback or Lion King's like, it's fine. But stuff like The Rescuers, I'm like, really?
Oh, I fucking love The Rescuers.
Yeah, like that shit caught me off guard.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it? Okay.
I'm like, that would be like one of the last movies I would guess you'd put in like your S tier Disney stuff.
Really? Why is that?
I don't know. It's just really like Treasure Planet. Yeah, I can see that. That's like a lot of like what you would enjoy. Rescuers is like not. That's not what I know you for. I don't know. I guess it's just I don't know.
Yeah, Rescuers. It's funny because that did hit on that very specific nostalgic.
It must have just gotten you, yeah. Because when you described it,
I mean, that was stuff. A bunch of stuff with like Little Societies. That's all stuff I consumed as a kid.
Right.
And then what's so funny is that as a story, I don't think I told this on the podcast. I saw my mom the other day, and I told her like, "Have you ever seen the movie The Rescuers?" And that was the first movie she ever saw in theaters when she was a little girl in Germany.
Sure.
She saw it dubbed into German, and she was like, "I love The Rescuers!"
Right.
And I was like, what? It totally felt like something. I'm like, you never put it on for us. It totally seems like something you would have put on for us. And she just forgot. But it's like this part. It's like a fucking Mandela effect, or like the Graggle Simpson.
Yeah.
I feel like I have memories from another universe of this is totally something I would have watched.
Sure.
Yeah. I guess like the thing we were most divergent on was probably Naussica.
Like easily. That's the one.
Yeah.
For the most part, I can agree on most of these. Some of these I'm a little more lenient towards.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah.
Do you think any of the leniency is for nostalgia? Or
for Wind Rises, I know it's for nostalgia.
Okay.
For some of these, it's just like I can see why you wouldn't like this. Like Totoro, I could see you not getting into it. I thought it was fine, but I could see it.
I don't think it's bad. Again.
It's not bad. I know. Yeah, it's just like, well, it's not.
I'm just not into it.
There's better Ghibli movies, is what we're saying.
There's Ghibli movies that are more appealing to me.
Yeah. So yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is if Totoro was a pig guy who flew a plane, and they found her sister by him flying a plane, I think that would have been really sick. And she's like, why can't I see the forest spirits? Because I'm a pig, baby.
Yeah. We'll put a bookend on Ghibli we'll come back to it. Obviously, I do want to do those other.
What are the other Ghibli movies? because
right there.
Yeah.
There was like a tab for it specifically. There it is.
Yeah, list of Studio Ghibli works. Because I know there's some of them that are just shorts, I think. My Neighbor Totoro, Grieve of the Fireflies. That's one I'd be interested in.
I could see you liking that.
Only Yesterday? I don't know anything.
This is one that a lot of people like.
Okay.
But I don't know much about it.
Poco?
It's the one with the testicle raccoons.
Oh, yeah, the Tanukis.
The Tanukis, right.
With the big old balls.
Whisper of the Heart, I think, is one of the best non-Miyazaki ones.
Okay, this one looks cute. I like the cover.
Yeah.
My Neighbors, the Yamadas.
Don't know anything about this
anything
one.
About this. It's 103 minutes. The Cat Returns. That's what I say. That's what I say when I see you. I say, the cat returns.
I return.
Do you know anything about this one?
I know it's a spin-off of Whisper of the Heart.
Oh, okay.
Tales from Earthsea. Oh, dog.
Tales from Earthsea.
Oh, man. That's gonna be like our dinosaur.
I've never heard a good thing about this movie. No. It's got 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's their Chicken Little. That's their dinosaur.
Arietti, which a lot of people recommended to me. That's another one
that I could see we could like.
From Up on Poppy Hill.
It's also a Goro one.
So is this one... I never hear anyone talk about this. Is it better?
I mean...
87?
Hey,
okay.
It's not Tales from Earthsea.
No, okay.
So maybe it's a good one.
A Tale of Princess Kaguya, which I'd like to show to you.
I would love to watch that
You
one.
might find it really boring.
I could see it.
It's basically... It's structured like a fable. Where there's no real, like... consistent plot line. Mm-hmm. It's just like a bunch of stories that take place over the course of like a long period of time. And you kind of got to get into the rhythm of it. And all the individual stories, I think when you get into it, are really fun and entertaining.
Sure.
And then it like wraps up in this nice way, but it's not a very traditional movie. So would
you even call it non-traditional for a Ghibli movie?
Yeah, I would, because it's based off of an actual Japanese folktale.
Okay.
And I think it's really going for that, like, you know how there's like portions of like Miyazaki's movies where the characters are doing something that's not part of the overall, like a lot of the first chunks of his movies are like the characters kind of doing something and there's not like a real direction to the story.
Sure.
That's the whole movie of Kaguya.
Okay.
But it's lots of little episodes strung together.
Interesting.
And I really liked it by the end.
Okay.
I really liked it by the end.
I would love to get to this one eventually.
And then when Marnie was there, I don't know anything
I've seen that one. It's really good.
Okay, psychological
It's
drama.
very, very like psychological focused.
What's the premise?
I don't remember much about it, but I do remember like bits and pieces of like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like I remember it catching my interest for like a grand majority of it.
Huh. Okay. These two girls meeting each other.
She meets like this girl. Yeah, we'll get to this one eventually too. This one's very interesting. It's a good one.
Okay.
Then that's pretty much...
That's it. And there's they did do television stuff.
We're not doing those ones. I don't want to do like fucking Earwig and the Witch. Or like...
Do not do Earwig and the Witch.
Oh, hell no, we ain't doing that shit.
She's so ugly looking.
Yeah, and it's directed by Goro, so...
It's fucking Goro.
I could do one...
Fucking Goro.
I could do one bad Goro. I can't do two.
Dude, it must suck having a son with 4 arms.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Dude, could you imagine Miyazaki as a dad being like, 4 arms and you can't animate a good movie?
Someone's got to draw that. Come on, please.
You can't write a good script with 4 arms, 4 hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what is this? Hang on. Shorts? Short films, May and the Kitten Bus. That sounds like an actual short about...
Oh, it might only... they only show it at the Ghibli Museum.
So okay.
They might... You can only see it there, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, some of these you can only see it, like, the Japanese Ghibli Museum, which... That would make it lost media somewhat. Unless you go there.
Not lost, but maybe it's just obscure.
You can't find it anywhere.
Hard to find. Peace. Oh, they did like a music video. Okay. He's done some music videos.
Damn, they did a Star Wars collab?
Really? Where?
Look at the bottom.
Commercials.
No, right here.
Oh.
Right here.
Oh, Zen, Grogu, and Dust Bunny. I didn't... That just looks like the name of a random thing. I forgot Grogu is Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm and Ghibli collaborative short film. Huh.
They did for Disney+.
It's kind of cool. I remember them. There was like a Star Wars anime, wasn't there?
Visions.
Yeah. Or something.
But that's not Ghibli. That's like...
I think it's like a bunch of different studios.
Like collaboration. Like Trigger worked on an episode. Yeah. Aardman did an episode for Visions.
What? Is it stop motion?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That rules. The only thing I know about it is that there's a clip where there's like a Jedi and a Sith fighting, and the Sith is like holding the Jedi's lightsaber back.
Is it the Trigger one?
I don't know. He's holding it back with like force lightning, and the Jedi turns his lightsaber off, and it throws the Sith off balance, and then he jams the handle into the guy's chest, and then turns it on, and it fucking stabs through him. God. And I was like, that rules.
Hey,
that's sick.
That show must be cool. I've never seen it, but yeah.
Because as a kid, I was like, why don't they just do something like that? You just use it like a switchblade.
Well, hey, they heard you.
Yeah. And apparently, like, there was a comment on that clip that apparently George Lucas was asked about, like, why don't Jedi ever use that tactic? And I think his response was just like, it's for pussies. It's a cowardly, dishonorable move. When in reality, it's because, like, he just wanted them to be swords.
Right.
He just wrote them to be swords, but in space. All right. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. I think it's a good way to end.
I do have one more little tidbit to end us off on the topic of cool uses of things for an attack. I came across this clip on Reddit from one of the Power Rangers series where okay, stay with me.
Okay.
So it's like this episode, it's like Power, I think RPM, I think was the one. And it's like this little it's like at the start of the episode, and they're having like a meeting with their like scientist lady. And they're just at the premise of the scene is it's kind of like a satirical, like pointing out the funny little things that exist in like tokusatsu shows and Power Rangers that are really just there for aesthetics. Like, why do we have to say the name every time we transform? Why does my car have like eyes on it to make it look like an animal?
Sure.
And one of them asks, why is it that every time we morph, there's like a 6-story tall explosion behind us? And she says like, oh, it's like, which has always just been like an aesthetic visual thing.
Yeah.
But she says like, oh, it's like the back blast of the transformation, like the energy being released. And then later in the episode, one of the Rangers in a fight, like everyone's down, and he unmorphs and remorphs, and he uses the backblast explosion to take out like a whole crowd of like mooks.
Okay.
And I was like, that's really cool. That's a really fun idea.
Sure.
That he used the cool guy explosion.
Okay.
It's like, that's you don't give it. You think I'm such a fucking loser right now.
I never liked Power Rangers growing up, so I never thought that shit was cool.
Oh, well, okay, fine. I just thought that was neat. I'm not even a huge Power Rangers
Really?
guy.
Okay.
I just thought it was funny.
Sure.
Okay. Fuck you. We're ending the podcast now. If we thanks for listening. If you have any questions, leave them out in the comments. Phrase them in the form of a question. Because I'm not just going to read your thoughts out loud. I've been Taigen, and this has been Kat.
This is me. I'm Kat.
Yeah, I'm Kat.
I'm Kat.
And that we're going to call it a wrap on that episode. And I have to open up my laptop now.
Yeah, you got to log in to end it.
Yeah, all right. Goodbye.